Welcome to the Dragon's Flow Teacast, episode 32, I think it is.
Coffee cast.
No. No.
Today we're doing something a little bit different. We've got a tea and coffee blend, along with some pecans, because why not?
Because we gotta get rid of that awful coffee flavor.
Yeah, basically.
Let's just bridge the gap. The philosophy is actually pretty interesting. I was talking about this as we were brewing it, but coffee is optimally brewed at low temperatures. And so optimally it's like 165 and at most 175, which puts it lower than most green teas. And so in order to blend these two, it's really a riddle. And what this person suggested, or what this person did, is they put in the full coffee bean. So it's like reverse matcha. Usually you expose 100% of matcha to the water to get 100% of the flavor, and you do the same with coffee. So they kept the bean together, so there's very little exposure. They also made it really blonde, which I like blonde coffee, so that's great for me.
John's fetish confirmed. Blondes.
No, it wasn't what I meant. I was actually really specific. Blonde coffee.
I don't know about a fetish.
And yeah, so they kept it together, and I thought it was pretty interesting that they used black tea. I would have probably gone with a green tea myself, like a really robust. I'm trying to think, not Dragonwell. Come on, what's one of the tougher green teas?
One of the tougher green teas?
Yeah, like I have one in mind that's like gunpowder, maybe.
That could work. And so yeah, I'm still waiting for it to cool down because that's how
it's cooling off.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Oh yeah. So
wow.
We brewed this like 20 minutes ago.
Someone's got an attitude on them today.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't had his morning coffee. Drink up, Nick.
I did.
Oh, good.
Give him a Snickers bar.
It tastes like terrible.
Doesn't taste terrible.
It tastes like coffee.
It has coffee flavor in it.
It tastes like coffee. It tastes like watered down coffee, which is all coffee. Only it's bad because it's bitter.
I can taste both the pecans and the black tea.
I can tolerate this. If we do a coffee tea blend for the tea store, we're going to call it Nia.
Oh. That's out there now.
Description is just going to be Edward. That's it.
He doesn't want to incentivize people to buy. I was trying to figure out, like, as I was drinking this before everybody else, since I can actually handle hot, I guess. I guess that's another fetish.
I can handle hot too. It's just
That's why you waited half an hour to drink it.
I'll take what I can get.
No, I waited until the show that we were watching before this was over.
So
also, I chugged the tea that I was drinking myself earlier, because
that's also a bad habit.
I foolishly, like an idiot, forgot the time that we were recording was we started recording like 4 hours earlier, so I forgot when I woke up and made my cup of tea that that was going to happen. So I'm like, oh, I better just get rid of this tea.
You have tea before the Teacast?
I usually do anyways. But man, are you going to be wired?
No,
not only do you have regular tea, you're going to have coffee.
Caffeine doesn't really affect me.
Uh-huh. And you don't mind that one ABBA song.
Anyway.
I'm first in line. Alright, so we don't have too many news things to talk about, but we do have the next season of anime to talk about, and what we're going to be watching, or potentially watching.
Let's start with the news.
I'm just going to take a season off.
Speaking of speaking of the next season of anime, My Hero Academia, the movie, coming August 3rd. So it's going to be part original stuff, at least. and it's going to delve into the backstory of an unknown character, in addition to featuring the characters of the class. That's
Are they going to Naruto
all we know
this?
about it. You mean like it's a non-canon thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably. I mean, this description is not...
The description is nothing. The description is there's a new character. Also the rest of the class.
But as far as I know, we have not delved into anybody's backstory in the manga. At least not enough to make a damn movie out of it.
My hope is
Well,
that...
it's a new character that isn't in the manga.
Oh, so...
Yeah,
then-
so my
So
hope...
it's probably a Naruto.
My hope is that this character's power is alteration of mind or memory, and so something happens, and he just unwrites himself and everything, and we've been getting that timeline, and now he's about to come back because there's a great trial ahead of them.
And then he's going to continue into the rest of the show or manga.
Yeah.
So they're not going to Persona Q it.
Oh.
That's a
reference.
good thing. That game was terrible. It was just a crossover game between Persona 3 and Persona 4, and they just used different mechanics. They used Etrian Odyssey mechanics instead of Persona mechanics.
Oh, what a mistake.
What a mistake. And since none of you have played any of those games...
I played a couple.
Yeah. It was kind of weird. And then, because none of the characters have met each other before, and like they're like, how do we retcon ourselves out of this mess? They just were like, okay, everybody had a memory forget spell, and everybody was fine. But then there was a fighting game, and they all crossed over anyway. So that universe is so messed up. It's hilarious.
Much like our own, which is why we escape into anime. What's the next bit of news?
The next bit of news, let's see.
Speaking
let's
of
just go
escaping.
straight down the line. God Eater 3 announced for PS4 and PC. I guess it's called God Eater Resonant Ops. So if
Does
you
he
haven't
literally eat gods?
if you haven't had sorta, yeah. If you haven't had like your 80 hours worth of the previous two games each, here's number 3.
Yay.
It'll have slightly better graphics, I'm sure.
Nah.
It sounds like it's a long game.
No, it's just basically Monster Hunter.
I haven't played Monster Hunter.
It's you grind.
That's it?
That's the game.
The game is just grinding?
Yeah, and then you get better gear and it looks nice, and then you see better gear and that you could potentially get, and it's like you need 100 pieces of iron and 500 feathers, and these are the monsters that carry it, so go hunt those monsters.
They just carry iron? What kind of monsters are these?
Metal ones? I don't know. Steins Gate Zero getting a PC release outside of Japan. That's nice.
Yeah. I wanted to say about, I think it's Monster Hunter. No. It's, the one where you have pets.
Neopets?
It sounds like Monster Hunter. No, it's not Neopets. It's,
Monster Rancher?
Monster Rancher, yeah. There's this whole debate around it, because the monsters have lifespans. And so they're destined to die within like a couple weeks of you raising them and caring for them. Like no matter what you do, they're gonna die. And some people are like, that's part of the fun, man. It's just like that sucks.
Is it like in-game weeks or out of like real weeks?
It'd probably be like a couple of years in game. I don't know how long it go, but you'd raise it if you like go on, because you have to feed it and all these other things, and then you take really good care of it, and then it's just gonna die, and it's not gonna leave you with anything. It's just like, well, you took care of it for since the moment you kidnapped it.
It doesn't even it doesn't even like hatch eggs or anything like that.
Not that I know of, and it's just like that's part of the fun, man. Then you go out and you find another one, and then you do that until it dies.
Like if it hatched eggs or something like that, or if
you got to take care of generations.
If it had anything other than it died, now phase 2. or Phase 1 again.
I kind of
So-
want to play Tokyo Jungle now.
All right, I'm
I
gonna
want to play Tokyo Jungle.
before
You want
going.
to play Tokyo Jungle after this?
No, you gotta work.
Oh.
But before we go back in time to the Steins Gate again, I will say, they used to think that tea didn't have caffeine because of the muscle relaxants in it.
This one certainly does.
Well, this one, yeah. I just got the first feeling like I drink coffee and tea, and I can occasionally feel like the difference. This definitely has a body feel of coffee. For for those of you coffee drinkers out there listening to the Teacast, what are you doing? But second of all, everything from the mild acidity in the body to this more buzzy feel of the caffeine, like this does it balances it better than any other coffee tea blend I've ever had, which is one. But this does lean a little bit towards coffee.
There was one that I had.
This can be a gateway tea.
Oh God, I don't think so.
For the coffee drinkers.
There was one that I had that
Steins
was
Gateway.
also
Steins Gate. This is Steins Gate.
No, I think there's better gate thing. How about just gate? Have you heard of that?
I think we've talked about it, but I've never watched it.
I think we have. I haven't either. Basically, the gist is a portal opens from like a fantasy world into a like modern world, and the fantasy world invades, and they're like, "Hey, we're demons," and the military's just like, "Okay, well, we're gonna kill you," and they just completely dominate them.
And then they go into the gate.
And then they go into the gate because they're like, "Oh,
I watched the first episode. Never mind, I take it back.
Preemptive retaliation."
And the main guy's an otaku, right?
Yes. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen a review of that. It sounded like the reviewer really didn't like it. Like wasted potential.
I heard the beginning of it is really good, but then it's like demon like actual characters get introduced, and then it starts to get kind of eh.
Yeah. I don't usually stop after the first episode, and I just remembered I saw only the first episode. So it was okay.
Speaking of Steins Gate, that's like kind of where we were for like a really long time. I was trying to get you guys to watch it,
Yeah.
and
Half a decade.
We half a decade. I think we watched the first 3 episodes like 8 times.
Yeah, and right now we're getting the T-Man to watch it, and I almost like dry heaved thinking about watching those episodes again. Not that they're that bad.
They're not bad. It's just we've seen them enough.
Uninteresting
It's like the first
at
level
this
of
point.
Dokapon Kingdom.
No, that's still great. I'll do that again anytime.
I know you will. You'll actively encourage me.
Mm-hmm.
Encourage isn't even the right word. Incentivize, force,
Seduce you to the dark side.
Yeah, but I'm not falling for that.
Yeah, you
We've-
never fall for
we've-
seduction.
We've got the game saves. I'll pick any of those up, even if they're not for you.
We don't even talk to half the people on those game saves anymore.
They're no longer part of our lives. We should just delete those saves.
No, man.
No, but
Posterity.
like we got to North America. Do you know how hard that is in Dokapon Kingdom?
Yeah.
Anyway,
What else we got going on?
yeah. So glad that Steins Gate 0 is coming to PC because a lot more people are gonna see that. Speaking of visual novels, When They Cry, Higurashi is coming to Switch, and it's going to have new stuff.
Sweet
and
G.
I hope that gets an English translation because it's got all the stuff that never made it to English, which is like half of it now. Because they kept making new stuff, and it wasn't like the we talked about this last week or
No.
2 weeks ago. All of the anime that they made spin-offs of, it was just like, hey, we're lolis in swimsuits. And this is actual like story spin-offs.
Where everyone's dying.
What?
Where everyone's dying.
Yeah, where everyone's dying and where there are actual literal gods fighting. Why couldn't they make an anime of that? That'd be nice.
Do they still have lolis in swimsuits?
They have lolis with...
That's what the gods are, and while they're fighting.
7-bladed swords.
Are they in swimsuits or swimsuit-like appearance?
They're in Miku... not Miku. Miko costumes.
Miko costumes? Let me take a look at what this Miko costume
They're the
is.
Shrine Maiden things.
Oh. I can watch it, I guess.
Anyway.
What's next?
So that's... I'm looking forward to the English release of that will never happen because nobody... Like, there's barely any demand for that.
I just saw, I forget what it was. Someone posted a bunch of pictures from a con, and someone was holding up a Higurashi thing that they bought, like a Higurashi game. I'm like, hey, good job.
Was it me?
No, it wasn't you. It surprised me. I'm like, Nick?
I don't know, it's at some
That's
point
an expensive-looking cosplay you made, Nick.
for some point at a future thing, maybe not this one.
It looks
but
just like a regular
one,
person.
I want to get controversial and talk about certain female cosplayers, and at what point are we going to pretend they're not whores? Because somebody posted something in ASAP forum today, and you're just like, why are you pretending that you want to have clothes on? And I looked at the profile, it's like, literally every picture you have is just you and your ass, and you trying to show off your boobs.
I think if they actually make their cosplay, then they're legit. But if they're just buying a thing from somebody else and here, take a picture of me...
I think he's talking about the time... So, like, there's certain calling cards for every character, and if you have a wig that somebody else made and then you're, like, naked, it's like, is that a cosplay?
Like that Hermione thing I think I showed you guys.
Which one?
Where it was just a woman in just flat out a bikini, and she had a Hermione wig on. It was like, I'm cosplaying Hermione.
But that doesn't even make sense.
Right,
Yeah.
I think that's what he's talking about.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, obviously that wouldn't count. But you're talking about, like, serial cosplayers.
Yes.
I would say it doesn't... Okay, that first of all, that definitely doesn't count. But I'd say it doesn't count.
He found the place that the Nick's line in the sand, as it were. Right before Bikini Hermione.
If it's, like... If it's just obviously trying to be, like, the slut version of the character, then yeah, that doesn't count. But I'd say if they just go out and buy a thing, and then, like, just, here, I'm going to hire someone to take pictures of me, which a lot of people do for some reason, then, it doesn't count.
I don't care if they make it themselves or not. If literally all you do is just half-naked cosplays, you're not cosplaying. You're showing off your body.
Well, we're talking about this now, I suppose.
I suppose I should also bring in the fact that those people have a near 100% likelihood of being like, why do guys only just look at my body? God.
I'll add that into account.
That's almost a separate problem, but the words you used said it pretty well. Like, if you are doing that to show off your body, you are not cosplaying. So when you're cosplaying, you're trying to portray another entity, if you will. You're trying to embody that as best as you can for the fandom, and I guess anime fandoms I shouldn't say anime fandoms tend to like the risque stuff. We're all about waifus and husbandos,
right?
And so maybe in their mind it's like a service to the community.
Oh God!
Think of it like this: if you're doing a Yoko cosplay because Yoko is
I
awesome,
wouldn't do a Yoko
all the
cosplay.
power to you. If you're doing a Yoko cosplay because I'm sexy in this, you annoy me.
I think the reason that I said, like, if you just buy it from someone who makes cosplays or buy it from, like, a set or something, I think the reason that I said that is because like if you just do that and then hire someone, if the only purpose behind your cosplaying is like publicity, then that's bad. But if it's just walking around and like, you know, enjoying the place, enjoying the con, that's fine.
Yeah, I can live with that. That's no problem.
I can easily stand against that one. There's some really, really good cosplay makers, and if you look like the character and you buy from the good cosplay maker, especially if you're going to give them a shout out in the comments, it's just like you found the cosplay for you, and you don't trust your skills or anybody that you bought the official cosplay, and it's like, hey, check this out. I love this. I hope you do too. But then
you're a model.
Yeah, but some people aren't really models. Like, I'm trying to think of there's plenty of homely cosplay, homely anime characters, and so like, for example, if you're one of them, you're probably not a model. So like, image comes to mind about 4 years ago when people still occasionally dressed as Code Geass, which was awesome, which people should do more often because Code Geass revivified everything.
Go on.
Is awesome. You should watch it. There was he was probably about 17 or so, but he looked almost exactly like Lelouch, and he bought. At that point, I had been my girlfriend at the time had been working on a cosplay for me for Lelouch, and it didn't really pan out that year. But I saw an online version which I could have bought for far less money than I wound up spending. Which looked really good. He was in that, and it just, if he had my cosplay, he would have looked less like Lelouch. But he had this really nice one, and it was just like, yeah, that's great. I'm so glad that you didn't, do the,
Right, but was he just hanging around the con and,
someone found him and
ASEN?
Somebody,
or was he,
somebody found him and did a photo shoot
in a room somewhere, paying people, not like, in the cosplay area where everyone takes pictures. But did he hire someone to take pictures of him for his portfolio?
There were professional photographers. I don't know if he hired them or if they just found him, but there were definitely, and I saw him several times with I think the same people with professional equipment. They did an outdoor photo shoot with a professional looking C2 too. So I couldn't say for sure, but I can say that I'm glad that he bought that, because also that was like, to me, like those people are legit. If I ever have any, like if I find a character that I am, I'll see what they price it at, because they basically charged you for the cost of the materials. Like, it was, I want to say that the whole cosplay was under $100. It was like, nice. So I was glad for that. As a fan of Lelouch, Code Geass.
Yeah, I found the person I was talking about. Like, they're supposed to be doing Bulma right now. Does that feel like they're cosplaying Bulma because Bulma, or they're cosplaying Bulma because they can show off their vajayjay?
She looks like she wants to kill herself, so...
So maybe we should insult her?
Let's do it!
She's not listening, I'm sure.
John-kun.
I can't see that far.
Turn your head!
I did!
Move the hat!
No!
God damn it.
Even if that wasn't there, I would
that's
be able
the
to
shit
see
I'm
it.
talking about. And damn well...
if she's lifting her skirt up and being like, then... I mean, come on, like, you can't argue for that.
Yeah.
That's just like a different conversation.
Alright. Next up, new Matrix incoming. And for me, I'm kind of nervous. I'm a little bit different. Most people hated the second and third movies. I liked them more than the first, actually. Because I actually understood what was going on, I guess. But I felt like it ended where it needed to end. And so
yes,
it's kind of like...
That's one thing I think everyone can agree on.
They're pulling a season 3
That's what makes me nervous of Code Geass.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're pulling a Code Geass. That's making me really...
Let's not assume it's bad yet, okay? Let's assume that it was all part of the plan. It's going to be good. It's going to be great, guys. It's going to be great.
From what we've seen so far, Suzaku dies in like the second episode or something, so I don't know what they're going to do after that. I'm just making that up. Alright, so what else do we got going on?
Dragon Balls.
What makes me even more nervous about the more matrices is like I don't know what happened to the Wachowskis who directed the
You
Matrix.
mean the Wachowski brothers?
Yeah, the brothers. Now they're not brothers anymore.
Oh, they broke up?
They both realized that they were actually women on the inside, and now that happened, and they're also rampant SJWs. So
We saw the last thing they made for Netflix, and that was just, Orgy Fest with a plot.
yeah, I think there were at least 3 like huge gay orgy scenes in that. It was a good show, though. Other than that, it's just like it ticked the box of every SJW talking point, but it was still a great show, and that's kind of the problem. It's just this annoys me, but next episode. Let's go.
We'll see what happens.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yep,
So we watched Magical Girl Ore.
we'll talk about that in the second infusion, I think, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But the reason that we watched it was because Crunchyroll had a special preview event of the first 2 episodes, which is interesting. I don't know why they did that, but the rest of the series isn't going to air until April 1st.
So we gotta wait until 4 weeks from now to see episode 3.
No, until Sunday.
Oh, this Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh.
Learn your calendar, son.
No, because... So you said it was special preview, it's not the official release? Or something?
It just came out earlier than everywhere else. I don't even think it's out in Japan yet. I'm not sure about that.
So when it comes out in
though.
Japan, are they gonna release episode 1 in Japan?
I don't know.
Because if they do that, then we gotta wait for episode 1, episode 2, and then episode 3.
I don't know. And it was
why are you laughing at me about this Sunday, you jerk?
I said April 1st, and you said 4 months from now, or 4 weeks from now?
Until we can see the next actual new episode for us.
I'm not sure if it's, if they're gonna be oh, so it was for, Crunchyroll members only. So, normally you can watch, last week's episodes with ads and stuff. So it's probably going to be they're locked until April 20th. Whatever.
Alright, we'll see.
But yeah, that's kind of weird.
Any other new stuff, or do we go on to...
No, that's all the news.
Alright, so in that case, we're going to move on to next season of anime, and what we've got lined up for potential watching. Nikolai? Nikolai?
John, did you watch or look up any of your things that you wanted to?
I remember none of it.
Of course. Well,
I was
start
pretty much
then, since...
I'm excited about this season. So what I wanted to see is where everybody fell, and then I'll just sort of pick up a couple of the scraps.
All right. So I divided my things into must watch, interested, and maybe. And the maybe is kind of wow, there's a lot of stuff. I'm probably not even going to get to this. So must watch for me is Steins Gate Zero.
Yes.
That's the absolute top of the list.
Given.
My Hero Academia 3.
Given.
Persona 5.
Yeah.
Which I have a couple weeks to finish. The game's been out for a year and I still haven't finished it.
Slacker.
It's a 100-hour game, man.
You're a 100-hour game.
Slacker.
That is factually incorrect.
If you do 20 hours a day, you can finish it in 5 days.
Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Yeah.
And Full Metal Panic. And then interested. I've been waiting for more than 10 years for a new Full Metal Panic to come out.
Yes, you
I'm
love that show.
super excited.
I haven't seen the original, so I might...
The first season is wacky hijinks, and then occasionally there's oh, well, we have we're gonna have like an action segment now, and the action segments are kind of like they're like typical plus shonen, but the next season is like we need to go further.
Mm-hmm. Even further
beyond.
Thank you, Nick. These people don't know how to Dragon Ball Z.
I do.
No, we're just doing it on purpose.
No, you're not. You just suck.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen like a better heel turn in anything ever. It's great. And then interested, Devil's Line. I don't remember what that was. Let's look it up.
See, I posted links for all the things I had.
Oh, well, I have a link right here, so...
Yeah, but now you gotta look. I posted the rec links.
Oh, well, if only I knew how the alphabet worked. Alright, Devil's Line. Tsukasa, a college student, is rescued from an attack by a devil, one of many vampires... Hold on, I'm just going to increase this font size right here. There we go. Tsukasa, a college student, is rescued from an attack by a devil, one of many vampires that can blend in among the human population. Anzai, her savior, is a half-let devil who exploits his supernatural gifts as a member of the shadowy police task force that specializes in devil-related crime in Tokyo. As Anzai continues to keep guard over Tsukasa, the two quickly forge a tentative bond.
Those dudes.
Yes, that's Magical Girl Ore. No, it's not. It's a different thing. Okay, we'll get to that later. But anyway, where was that? John, I lost the plot because of you.
All you have to do is, hey, Nick, dudes. What? Magical girls, I mean.
You asked me a question and I answered because I
was asking Yulian.
Anyway, the two quickly forge a tentative bond, one that Anzai fears will test his ironclad rule of never drinking human blood. So it's
vampires.
Hopefully not Twilight.
Sounds kind of like Twilight.
Sounds kind of like Twilight. That's why it's not on the must-watch list. God, no! Stop zooming in.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to get a good-sized font.
You're the font.
Stop saying I'm things that are like not things. And then Caligula, which is based off a PS Vita game that was made by the same people as Persona. The description is terrible, but it's basically like people get trapped inside of a virtual-ish world, but it's not an MMO, so that's nice. And I haven't played enough of the game to completely get it, and I kind of forgot about it, but basically, like, everyone in there is kind of like, they become like generic people, except for a few who are like, oh, hey, this isn't the real world, and then they kind of have to escape from it, and they get these powers and stuff. Maho Shoujo Site.
That's on my list as well.
Let's scroll down to that. Asagiri Aya is a young girl who has fallen victim to bullies at her school. Looking for a way to escape her troubles, she looks to the internet for distraction when a mysterious website called Magical Girl Site appears. Simply viewing the page is all it takes to hurtle Aya headlong into the deadly world of the Magical Girl Apocalypse. There, it's fight or die against a seemingly endless array of savagely adorable, fully skirted killing machines, each armed with magical powers and an unquenchable thirst for blood and chaos. So, it sounds like Madoka and the shows that kind of preceded it are running that trope of what would you call it? Would you call it a deconstruction?
At this point, no.
It's kind of running it into the ground.
Ore is more of a deconstruction, I think.
That is
no, it's like a parody.
Yeah.
I'd call Madoka a deconstruction, but other people would argue against it because it uses all the tropes and therefore is not. I would call it
even.
What?
Go on.
Anyway, Wataku ni koi wa mazukashi.
Bless you.
Where's the site? Here it is. I'm gonna move this tab. Okay.
Close all the other tabs you don't need.
Watakashi. The story centers on an awkward romantic comedy between Narumi, a female office worker who hides her Fujoshi lifestyle, and Hirotaka, a handsome and capable company man who is secretly a game otaku. Probably not gonna watch that.
Now that you looked at the description.
No, just like there's so many other things
Close
that
all
are
the
better.
tabs you're not using.
Yeah, Nick.
Damn, son.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? You've got so many you can't even see what tab it is.
Yeah, but I know from feel, which you don't.
Hinamatsuri. What's that?
It's an anime.
Yes, it is. You're correct for once. I'm surprised you didn't say it's me. This comedy manga centers around a superpowered girl named Hina and Nita, a young member of the Yakuza. Hina suddenly appears in Nita's room and threatens him with her extraordinary powers. However, they end up living together. This sounds like the description of another anime that's running. Surprisingly. See what happens when you tell me to reorganize my tabs?
No, I told you to close the tabs you're not using.
I'm using those.
You're literally not.
I need those for later.
Ah.
Stop bitching. Fist of the Blue Sky. That's the Fist of the North Star
so close.
prequel. What?
What?
Don't answer what with what.
What?
And of course it's the Japanese title, so
we know, we get it.
It's the Fist of the North Star prequel.
Yeah.
And maybe the thing that I was like, I'm probably not gonna watch this. I put that into maybe and interested. I was like, I changed my mind. Golden Kamui.
On the G.
I know. Thanks. Actually, it's not. Where is it? Here it is.
Yeah.
In the early 20th century, Russo-Japanese war veteran Saichi Immortal Sugimoto scratches out a meager existence during the post-war gold rush in the wilderness of Hokkaido. When he stumbles across a map to a fortune in hidden Ainu gold, he sets off on a treacherous quest to find it. But Sugimoto is not the only interested party, and everyone who knows about the gold will kill to possess it. Faced with the harsh conditions of the northern wilderness, ruthless criminals, and rogue Japanese soldiers, Sugimoto will need all his skills and luck and the help of an Ainu girl named Aispira to survive. It's interesting, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And there's more Lupin.
Lupin
the Third, the Fifth. Alright, that's me.
Me. So what do we got?
You want me to read it?
Yes, because I can't see it.
Alright. You apparently rated your things out of 5. 2.5 out of 5 for Caligula, which I already explained. 5 out of 5 My Hero Academia. 2 out of 5 Dore Iku the Animation.
Wow, it's almost like you could have clicked on it.
Iku. What if you... Well, I already have this tab open, and I know how much you hate tabs. What if you could enslave anyone you ever wanted? Well, this comes close. The SCM allows you to enslave anyone who is also wearing an SCM at a price. One must win over the other at the cost of anything in order for the other to become their slave. Oh yeah, I was interested in this too.
Mm-hmm.
Next is Ginga. That's Legend of the Galactic Heroes. 2 out of 5. Izakai.
Just so you know, my description for out of 5s is how likely I am to watch it. 3 out of 5 is probably 2 out of 5 is if somebody else watched it first and lets me know if it's worth it.
All it says is the novel's center on a bar called Nobu, located in Kyoto, Japan, but with a door that is connected to the bar in another world. The visitors include denizens of another world, and customers seek out an excellent Toriyazu Nama ale and cuisine. Wow, that font is tiny.
You're tiny.
If only I opened a different tab and made the font larger. Mahu Shoujo Ore. We didn't talk about that.
We will at the second fusion. Because we watched it.
Well, I'm going to describe it because reasons.
Magical girls get men bodies because those are stronger for fighting.
And the mascot character is a yakuza. A yakuza. Maho Shoujo Site. We already talked about that. That's 4 out of 5 for you, as was Maho Shoujo Ore. And Saredo Tsumibito wa Ryu o Odor to Ordoro.
Bless you.
This story revolves around Jushiki, literally spell equations. The equations that govern the quantum constant h of action change the laws of physics at the local scale, giving birth to TNT explosions and poison gas, and cause incredible physical phenomena such as plasma and nuclear fusion. 2 Jushiki, spell equationists, who use Jushiki in battle are Gaius, who deal with bad luck and with tact, and the beautiful but cruel sword wielder Gegina. These 2 bounty hunters are caught up in a battle with dragons in the city of Eridana and the intrigue of great nations. If you're gonna watch that, I'll probably watch this too. It's got so many buzzwords and like, it's the kind of thing where like, when I'm halfway reading the description, I'm just like, ugh. But the premise is interesting enough.
Kind of reminds me, I really wish that one school for the where they taught kids magic, the one where he was talking about, all right, you think you've mastered this, what happens if you remove a syllable? It curves left. I really wish that was done better.
Yes.
What show was that?
I don't even remember what it was called.
It was like 2 seasons ago.
Yeah. I remember watching that scene.
Well,
it was
scene
a 12
was really
episode
good.
thing, but I didn't even like bother watching the last episode because I'm like, it's just not worth it. That was the one good scene, and the rest of it was just downhill.
Right, that was the really, really well-constructed, genius scene. But so what we need to do, or what they need to do, is make a show that puts that into like every aspect of it. Like, think of all the possibilities of using language for like your spells, and like you're in the middle of a battle. This is like D&D stuff. You need to pass your concentration checks because you go, like let's say the flame pillars you're moving, you get through flame, and then you get hit with something, and you go pill, and then something crazy happens, like it curves left.
I'm trying to think of something, like there was something like that.
Much like the modern day ninja, something like that. You remember that, Nick? Huh?
The modern day ninja?
Yeah.
What is it?
We talked about this before, where they wanted like an anime where it was based around ninjas living in modern day, but not a comedy. Like, oh yeah, there's something like that, and then you never found it.
That's because I didn't really care that much, honestly.
I'd have found it if I wanted to.
I would have found it if I wanted to, Baka.
Pretty much, but without the baka.
You don't think he's an idiot?
Because you said that in the beginning of the show.
I think he's an idiot.
Well, then, why would you leave out Baka?
Because that implies I'm a tsundere, which I'm not.
Hmm.
You're a tsundere.
Someone doesn't know what a tsundere is.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, and then 5 out of 5. You're declaring this mandatory.
It's the tea shop one.
Yes. Thank you for.
Thank you, number 4.
Where is it? It's not here.
Maybe if you
Cancelled.
clicked on it!
If I click on it, I can't read it because the font's too small.
Zoom it in!
I have to use my keyboard, which is way over here, and now I've made the font smaller. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, how wrong can you be, Julian?
Sorry, I've learned the error of my ways.
4 men, Guri, Sui, Tokitaka, and Tsubaki, each helped run a Japanese tea shop together called Rokohodo. When one visits the shop, they are greeted warmly, are served tea, idiots, and are often helped with any problems they may have.
And they all fall in love.
No, they don't.
Oliver Lepp saying Sushong. Whoa, why are you drinking such strong tea, sir? Oh, my girlfriend left me. Oh.
-1 out of 5, which brings it to a 5 out of 5. Is this that one about where all the girls are horses and they just running around or something?
Yes.
Okay, that's all the time we have to spend about that.
I'll be talking about it.
That's great. Continuing record of Grancrest War. Yeah, we'll
Of
be
course.
continuing everything. John, your turn.
I can't see that, and I can't remember, so...
Well, you should come on down and take a look. I've increased the font size several times.
That's nice. I'll be watching shows.
Glad you're here.
Yeah.
We'll get a nice little surprise in 2 weeks, probably.
Well, some shows start this week. There's some shows that start tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
There's some shows that start
Like 2
this
weeks.
coming week. Most of them start in 2 weeks. But yeah, that is that.
Alright. So join us for the second infusion where we see how a second infusion of this coffee tea thing works.
I'm not even done with my tea.
I already
Drink it.
said, I really want to overbrew this and add milk.
No,
Yes, I do.
you
Well-
may not want it, but you may not receive it.
I'll walk to get milk.
We'll
You
talk
can
about
you can add milk in your own, but
we'll talk about
we're
the
not
things we've
overbrewing
seen,
it.
and we'll talk about the end of Dragon Ball Super and like all of that, how it compares, how it's rated, etc., and other little surprises here and there. So join us in 3, 2,
I'll use almond milk. I mean, that's fine, too.
1,
I said you could use the milk.
-5.
Which means it's 10 out of 10.
Stop the damn show.
I mean, you can put the coffee in.
I'll
God damn it!
Welcome,
Was you just
coffee.
put on the? Welcome to the second infusion. I am the tea man.
We don't start that here.
Oh, well then.
And we don't. Sometimes we don't start it at all.
Well, it's the second infusion. So let's begin with the most important Grancrest War recap.
Yeah, that was important. That was as close to a formal apology I've ever seen a show give. Like, I was kind of excited to watch it, and it was really quite helpful. I mean, there's not much more to say about it than it was just really, really helpful.
See you next week for this. No. Yeah, that's about it for that.
I think the only thing that it helped me with was the previous, episode 10. Yes. And like, okay, the episode where like everybody was just fighting each other for no reason,
Right, I think it was a response to that.
and like the map really that helped.
Right.
I think there were a couple times where they'd like briefly showed it, but it was just like it was irrelevant.
Overall, it was just
And
a
it
case
was
of,
just,
wait,
like,
what?
for a second.
Yeah. Right. We got the final episode of the Place for Them in the Universe.
They pretended like the mother didn't die.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was weird. It's just like, oh, this was so sad, and then the next episode, it's just like,
Let's play baseball.
yeah,
I think there was a big time gap in between
Yeah.
last episode and this one.
I think like, at least a week or two.
Well, no, even longer than that because
it was the end of their mission or whatever.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be several months, right?
Yeah, so a few months must have passed in between.
I think it was a few months from when they started the boat ride. It must have taken a while.
From Australia to Antarctica.
Yeah. 'Cause they got to the first
it
ice.
Probably
they could
wouldn't have
just
been
drive
more than
through
a
it.
month.
Not even.
Well,
Like,
let's say it was
using
2 weeks.
1800 standards. It probably wouldn't have been more than a month.
Let's say it was 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks there, 2 weeks back. That's one of the months gone in the few months.
Well, they left when it was time for the winter crew to take over.
Right. Winter crew probably gets there in fall. And actually at the point they were talking about, oh my gosh, so, right now it's summer, and soon will come fall, and then will come winter.
Right?
So it's not yet fall. So that's my point. It's just like they're
But
there for a few months.
the winter crew
Would get there during the fall.
why?
Because it wasn't fall yet. And they were
But
leaving
the
before
winter
the fall.
crew would have gotten there when it was winter.
No, because they were saying in this episode it wasn't yet fall. They were going to leave, and the winter crew was going to arrive.
They said normally the winter crew would be here, and we would have a party to welcome them in.
You can watch the episode again. I've seen it twice. Have fun, Nick.
Fine. Anyway,
This is
that's
side A.
completely irrelevant.
They've had at least a few weeks for her to
Yeah,
stop crying.
it's been a time skip.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's kind of weird. Like, I think the episode that, I think they should have had some way for, the final episode to be, like, they should have been able to switch, like, the places for the last two episodes. So,
You can't put an epilogue first.
well, but like, right? That's the problem. Is like, they're leaving, so it's not like you can find the laptop, like as they're getting on the helicopter or something. But
Oh, what's this? I kicked something in the snow.
right,
It's my
you know?
mom.
But it's her bones. It's just, I think that, like, that huge emotional moment last episode where we were all like, oh man, what an ending.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why not leave it at that, actually?
Because it was
I think
awful.
I think that would have been like a
Awful.
decent ending.
Um,
It would have been like very like open-ended and not a whole lot of closure, but like
I don't know. I
think add that, like, find a way to take the last 10 minutes of the last episode, put the first 10 minutes of, and transplant that onto the first 10 minutes of this episode, and have, like, the going away party as sort of not the focus. And then have, like, the friend, the mother's friend, send the
You
email.
created a Frankenstein.
Pretty much, like,
I
I think that's the way that they would have to do it, because it's just, it feels like it should have been just several manga chapers.
Just think of it as a closing OVA to give us some closure.
mean, I think
That's what it feels like, and it shouldn't feel like that.
I think you're being too harsh on this. Like,
Yeah, Nick.
the second to last episode was like great for a second to last episode. I think it would have been too harsh to leave it on. But what this does is it sets up like they're going to return. So it sets up sort of like a future of hope, and then when she gets back, that bitch of a friend,
She photoshopped
The
it.
table lumber.
yeah, she's back. And so, anyways, there's the second generation of high school adventurers that are in Antarctica.
No, I legitimately think she photoshopped it.
No.
I'd be surprised.
Because they said that there weren't any more anyone in the next season going. And she's like, I'm here in Antarctica.
Yeah.
How? There's nobody there.
She got there with the winter crew.
But that didn't exist.
Right, I know. She just flew in a helicopter. You find out her family's super rich.
She could have taken all of them.
Yeah, she could have totally.
The whole class.
She heard there
3-month field trip.
She heard there were tables everywhere. She had to go.
But yeah, but I think more.
I wonder
from
how
their...
many people get that joke.
Very few. They should watch Code Geass. Yeah, it was okay. Like, it was sort of odd because they made this big deal about how the people were staying and there wasn't a winter crew, and then she's randomly there somehow. But
yeah,
all they really needed to do, who knows? They also said not too long before that there's some points that adults need to not be honest, and so in order to get
there's actually a winter crew, guys.
Yeah, no, like because otherwise,
I'll say Mom's alive.
Well, remember, yeah, she's been here all along. No.
She's powering the generator.
Don't you remember their conversation?
The winter crew needs.
Yeah. Don't you remember? They had the whole conversation about the reasons they shouldn't stay. Because if they stayed, they wouldn't graduate. The person wouldn't be able to, the idol wouldn't be able to do her show. Like, there are plenty of reasons. Like, they had their thing. They did their Antarctica adventure, and now they need to go back and reintegrate. And that was like, last scene was like...
They all got their closure.
Yeah. Well, and they said, this landscape, which is their home, is just precious. And your house has its own... And so they had that, there and back again. And they wouldn't have gone back had they known that for sure that they could stay. One of them already wanted to. And so, sometimes adults maybe need to lie because, well, okay, maybe there is a winter crew, but you shouldn't be part of it. Like, you should come back after you've done what you need to do back home, because you need to go there.
Right.
So, maybe that was a lie, or maybe it was just wonky writing, like,
yeah, something's just not adding up.
I'm just
I don't
ashamed
know.
they went through 13 episodes and nobody found any Nazi paraphernalia.
In the Japanese zone of Antarctica?
Yes.
Well, all the Nazi bases were secret, hidden things. So
yeah, but Antarctica
and
didn't.
the civilian part of the Japanese base.
Antarctica didn't exist until the Nazis came, so they should have found some German engineering.
The Nazis found it. No,
they made it.
Oh yeah, at the center of the Earth.
Maybe in the no, it's the outer rim.
Okay.
So actually, it would have been way farther than
the universe
than the Nazi location. Like, by millions of miles.
Millions?
Millions and billions and millions and billions and billions.
They have also announced the second season, a place closer than the universe.
Is that the hentai?
Yes, they're going to be shrunk into like tiny people, and they're going to enter the bodies of a sick, dying... No, they found the mom's body.
Magic school bus?
Yes.
That's what I was thinking, too.
They're either going to be shot into the sun, I'm not sure. So what else do we...
the sun is just like a 2-inch glowing disc that exists about 10 feet from your head. But, like, you can never get to it because as you go further, as you go towards it, it goes away from you. So you can never quite reach it.
I remember some years ago, I saw a really funny but stupid religious, past this 10 people meme type of thing. And it was like, the universe is so perfect. If you were 10 feet, or if you were 20 feet further from the sun, we would all freeze to death. If you were 20 feet closer, we'd all burn to death. But God put it at precisely the right point. And somebody took that and just put a second meme of some guy goes up some stairs in a ladder. It's like, and he catches on fire.
That's pretty pretty good.
Well, also, it's almost as if the natural gravitational rotation of the Earth was like,
Gravity doesn't exist because it's flat. Remember?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right. So
Well, how does the sun? How does that work?
someone needs to catch up on their flatology. Do they have a word for that?
Nature.
Yes, the nature of the flat Earth.
Yeah,
All
so
right. Final episode of Kokkoku. So it was it's a little bit on the sad side.
Yeah, this also just reinforced the T-Man's mistrust of women.
Yes, it did. I promise, grandfather. I will wait until you're ready.
He trusted her enough to go to bed first, and announce that he was going to bed first.
It's like, I'm getting too close to this kid. High five.
All right, so I thought about this. Don't you think
High
that...
five to the sternum.
So those sheets of paper that she was keeping notes on, due to the amount of friction that writing that fast would create, don't you think that those would have just burned up the moment that she turned back on time?
No, because that was one of those, like, unexplained rules that somebody commented, the father commented on, like, the first episode. It's like, what about fiction? It's like, I can't explain all this, the grandpa said.
That's not explaining it. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So somehow it goes around. Can someone explain to me, because we were making the joke just a few minutes ago about, I kicked the computer just before you were leaving in a place further in the universe. It kind of felt like that just happened. Like,
yeah.
I just so happened to touch the one person who basically like created this world or something like that. It's like, what?
Yeah, the original founder that
Yeah.
nobody knew existed. That was kind of... That was a stretch.
Yeah.
Well, she was at the very beginning, you remember?
Yes.
No.
Biggest Chekhov's gun ever.
That's pretty good.
But still, the chances of just her, like, running into that person just by chance after walking around for a bit, and just at the moment she was about to become a herald, it's like...
Yeah, so
I can't suspend.
Credit to the animators. Visually, they made that make as much sense as possible because she started to lose her way, and then the herald sort of knocked her back, and then she had like this moment of sight, and then she started to everything faded away, and all she could see was like the meridians, and then she was floating and losing everything, and then she saw just one light in the midst of all the darkness, which was like a metaphor, obviously.
Right.
And then she's just like, I wonder if I could touch that. And that created a chain. So, like, visually, it made as much sense as it could have. But, yeah, from a writing standpoint, yeah.
It's a bit of a stretch, but at least it was foreshadowed, like, way early on.
No, I can't. I can't. It was just too much. It's like, out of all the people you could have ran into, it just so happened at the very nick of time. I mean, that's like some DBZ bullshit right there. But yeah, we got a chance to watch her slowly go crazy as she was the only...
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Hmm.
And then she's like, I can't take this baby anymore.
High five.
So it was also... Alright, just putting this out there too, like, they were trying to set up the series of things that made her, like, unique and able to not just drift it. Because that one girl's family, the one that Yulian thought she'd hook up with but never happened.
I'm pretty sure it happened off screen.
Except at the last scene where they're like, here's us kissing.
It was saying the same thing. But yeah, definitely implying that. But anyway, her family, the moment that they stepped in, they were just like, well, screw this.
Yeah, they were.
Like, they got through less than a minute.
Oh, man, it's all the world's pause.
GG, guys.
Time to screw off.
Yes. And she existed for, who knows, like a week with everybody there, and then months with nobody around. So there's something kind of unique with her. Her caring for the baby, he got to the point after after the years where the babies just spit up all over you in the middle of eating, like, the baby was pretty strong. She's like, oh, what happens if he throws up? It's like, lady, he's already done that at least, like, a million times.
Yeah.
She's like, he might choke on it. This is dangerous. And then she's like, oh, no. But he's maybe not strong enough. And so there was that, like, teetering into darkness, and then she had just a moment of clarity, and BAM! Before she even knew what she was doing, she, knocked the baby out. Same thing with that. It's just like that pattern of her thought, like, oh, maybe... No! Yeah. It was... I think they were trying to open up the door to a new season and also just trying to just end it in an episode.
Yeah, because I know there's a manga, and I'm not sure if it ends here, but I think it goes further.
Even further
Even
beyond?
further?
Even further.
Even further beyond.
It goes even further.
That's what you get.
Don't make me spill my tea.
That's coffee tea.
Magus?
Magus Bride. The final...
Speaking of half-brewed things, or half-baked things.
Well, you didn't like the ending?
No. Well, it was a little bit odd. Can I call you senpai?
I see nothing wrong with that. Senpai, do you see something wrong with that?
I'm not your senpai.
Yeah, you
Senpai? Yeah. It was not the ending I was expecting. I still liked it, but it was not what I was...
I was talking about Alias, by the way. Elias, about half formed. That's how he's formed. That's how he's talked about for the show. That's what I was referencing between the T.
I see. Yeah, I mean, it was an ending. I was left a little bit confused at the whole singing bit and how that managed to put him to sleep, but he wasn't asleep, so he's just kind of hanging out, pretending to be sleeping.
Okay. So that triggered my mind.
Triggered!
Yeah, except not that way, in a good way. Okay, so I was really weirded out by that too. And like the whole just like, let's fix it with hugs. I'm like, that was I think I said that on here. Like, this was finally just something that wasn't that, and then it was. However, although it didn't really hit me at the time, like everything else that this show has done has amazed me with how well they've done it and how well it's hit me, sometimes me not even knowing why. This was the opposite. That, like, didn't almost resonate with me at all. Like, we all watched this together, and I almost said something in the scene, like, are you guys digging this? Am I missing it? Is it good? However, so, they put the breadcrumbs in there to lead you to this, where that old god of chaos, basically, is just like, hey, you gonna get up out of your well? You doing well? No. And he's like, the troubled one finally lays its head to rest. And that is a really old story where a lot of the times people think about only slaying the dragon, for example, right? But that really, it doesn't tend to do anything. Like, you have to incorporate the dragon, you have to put it to sleep, you have to put the old ancient thing away, or else something bigger takes its place. And so she didn't slay him, she didn't end him, she allowed him to rest. And so he's going to be out of it for a couple decades, but that's as good as you get. You get moments, like after working out, you get that like moment of, ooh, I did it. And that doesn't last for forever. Eventually, if you just stay there, you become weak. You just get these moments of rest that you have earned. And these moments of like she says at the end, I'm home. Like, that doesn't last for forever. You have to work for it, and then eventually something will come and you have to beat it. And then you have to know that you're going to hit other trials. And so they created that fairly well through the story. And I had to look into the writing of it to appreciate it. I think that they dropped the ball on it a little bit. I think that there's, and I this is me as a frustrated critic, basically saying that it didn't hit me like everything else. But after realizing what they did, I'm like, yeah, so they got it right. They just didn't show it well enough.
That's it. And so they had like a fox marriage. Like, I'm not marrying you or anything, Baka. Just put on this ring.
You weren't wearing that earlier.
Yeah, so is she now free of that curse, or...
No, that was the other... This is the one thing that they did that hit me, was right now the two curses are at ends. And so, the Joseph, Cartophilis he met with the dragon, and they're just battling for her, and he's like, eventually he'll kill you. And it'll kill me too. But that's like everybody else. You have that dragon of chaos in you, and then you have that, like, immortal, challenged, changing order, kind of, the masculine. And he's like, everybody only gets to live for a little bit. And so, although you didn't gain mortality, like everyone kind of thought that she was going to be this immortal goddess. I kind of was in that camp myself. He's like, you don't get that. You only get to live for a while, and it's going to kind of be painful. So she's not rid of it, but it's in a stasis. And so it's going to come out hard on certain days and not on others, and it will kill her. But yeah, that was kind of cool. It's like,
well, it'll kill her, or she'll die eventually?
It'll kill her.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, I came to I met your dragon, and so right now we're duking it out, but it will kill you.
So the most important question about this now, they had the nice little fox marriage. Are they going to consummate it?
I thought that they were going to show pictures of their kids, like a full Metal Alchemist ending. No, they didn't though.
Well, because there might be another season.
My question was, do certain parts of him get softer after he gets, in the mood? Because he's all just made of bone.
Yeah, so I hope there's another season.
So this was another little image that I caught. So a lot of the things that made this show what it was, like this stuck with me after you said that thing about stillness. Like that was you nailed it. That was perfect.
Yeah, not a lot of moving parts going around.
One of the things that they did for the marriage is he took off one of his gloves and his hand was black.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And
that
one of her hands was already black.
It looked like Dumbledore's cursed dying hand.
Maybe that's what he was. Dumbledore's back, guys! And teaching little kids again. So anyways, one of her hands was black because of the curse. One of her hands was white because she's blessed. And he had his gloved hand as the white hand on her black hand, and her black hand was on... Her black cursed hand was on his glove. Her white hand was on his unsheathed black hand. And it was just like visually, they had like the yin-yang thing going on. I'm like, that was such a cool detail. Like, and I've never even considered what his hands looked like, to be honest.
Right.
I've seen him in his claws, but I've never really thought about it much. I just assume bone or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a nice little detail. Good work!
Yeah. It's like, there's so much just tiny things that, like, I'm sure if we just watched the whole show again, we would be like, how did we miss that?
Yeah. Well, like I said, there was one time before the podcast where I watched episode 9 or 10 when he was little baby him, and it just dawned on me how much his character had changed since the first episode. Like, rather not changed, but evolved. Like, our understanding of him changed. He was always that way, but at the beginning, he was just this powerful, commanding.
It was almost like a retcon.
Yeah. And then you watch it, and he was kind of childish. He's just like, don't tell me what to do. I guarantee there'll be some... I'll watch it again.
The manga is still ongoing, so these are the chances of a season 2.
Yeah.
But nothing's been announced as of yet.
I definitely hope there is.
Yeah. And I hope that they do...
Love scene?
No. I was going to say work on their intro, because that first intro I love.
First intro is the best thing ever.
So...
I mean, the second was good too, but the first one was like, I put that among my favorites.
Yeah. And I really hope whoever the artistic director was and the whole crew will stay together on this one.
Yeah.
With studio.
I've been so impressed every step of the way. And even this episode, which again, it didn't hit me as hard. I didn't feel I did as many things right. As I sort of sat and drank some tea and thought about it, I'm like, more just revealed itself. And I like that kind of thing too.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. All right, what next?
Magical Girl Ore. So we saw...
Sure.
Sure.
We saw the
Sure.
We saw the first 2 episodes of that, and I enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to keep watching.
It was fun.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was a decent parody.
Yeah, it's a parody of the Magical Girl series. The key point is that the Magical Girls, they turn into big burly men, because, I mean, men's bodies are more suited for fighting. I mean, it makes sense, right, guys?
That's what the little Yakuza guy said.
Big and hulky.
And I mean, so they made fun of those little speech those little speech tics that little sidekick guys get, and he's like, "Damn it!"
He says, "Wah!" after like almost everything. It's adorable.
And I wonder how they're going to translate that, because I mean, it's so easy to say "Urrah," but it's so hard to say "You damn it," you know.
Yeah. Usually the hardest thing about dubbing is getting the timing right.
Databayo.
Ugh. That's probably why it was Believe It, because it fit the timing.
Probably. Oh, God.
Believe it.
Believe it.
I think that her love interest is gay.
Probably.
Well,
That's
yeah,
the way
'cause
that
he blushed when he
things
saw
go.
the manly figure.
He's, ooh, what is this positive response? But then again, the other girl who loves her as a girl also blushed with the guy.
Of course, I saw that coming a mile away.
I am thoroughly loving this love triangle. So
this dumb, stupid love triangle.
It's awesome. Yeah. So the main character's love interest, the male, is gay and is only interested in her when she turns into a dude.
Well, but, as far as we know.
As far as we know. And then the main character's best friend / idol, sidekick, is in love with her, but they both turn into dudes. So it's going to be like 2 dudes going lesbian on each other, or like... So many possibilities.
I was glad that there was a moment, just a brief moment, where I was afraid that it was going to be another one of those I love my brother things.
Oh.
And I'm glad they didn't go that direction, and I'm glad that they paused it out just enough where I'm like, is it? Okay, no, it's best friend love, I guess.
Yeah. They also have a lot of fun weapons. They got magical hairpin grenades that
cause a nuclear bomb.
Yes. Very large explosions.
They have magical guns. They have unlimited ammo.
But the one we get is the heart-shaped rod.
It's a stick. You hit things with it.
That was pretty fun. It just had this like the censored out violence.
Yeah.
And the guy's just sitting on it.
Smoking. Yeah.
So well done.
And then like he's just or she, he, whatever, magical girl is just like,
she identifies as a she.
Yes. She's just like covered in blood and like ready for action and like looking around like, and it's like, did anybody see me? Yeah. It's definitely like of all the parody shows that I've watched like for genres, it's up there. Mm-hmm. It hit every nail on the head.
Oh, wait a second. What about her toast?
Oh yeah.
They were playing with that so hard.
Yeah, they were playing with it. So she woke up late for school, and then the mother, who, by the way, was the previous generation of magical girl, and that's how the main character ended up as one. The mother was a magical girl up to like the previous year or something.
Yeah.
And then month.
Yeah, it was. She
wow.
went back a month ago, and that's where she stopped.
She had a bad back. And then the Yakuza, who's her sidekick, is her mascot.
Yeah.
Is like, generally you're not supposed to have them past 15, but we're running short. Anyway, so she's like, oh, I'm running late for school. And then the mother's like, don't forget to eat breakfast. And she's like, I don't have time. And the mother's like,
Well, at least take this.
Breakfast is important, though. No, I don't have time for that. Well, at least have some of this. And then she's like, okay, fine.
And Nick's like, the toast?
I'm like, toast
this is what made it better for
toast
us.
is coming. Toast. I was so excited for toast. And then I forget what it was.
The first one was a huge ice cream sundae, like
a parfait or something like that.
Yeah, like a huge parfait.
Yeah, it was like unmanageably big.
And then the second one was a real picture of food.
Oh yeah. Then later, I forget how that came up, but it was like
this next day, and she was, I have to leave early.
I don't think it was that, but like, yeah, somehow they were talking about food, and it was like, here, look what I cooked for you or something, and it's just like actual picture of like real food. It's like
a real Japanese dinner.
So
another out of place,
and it was just like, okay, guys, you saved money on that
with caviar, and
it was nice. What'd you think about the singing?
There was singing?
Uh-huh.
Oh, there was a vast discrepancy between the two girls' skills.
Yeah.
Row,
row
your boat gently down the stream.
Yeah, so the two main girls are part of a highly unsuccessful for definite reasons, like an idol group, and they're just like singing on the street, and the main girl's voice is just terrible, and the other one's like pretty decent.
Yeah.
And the two
titty cuddle.
The two guys.
Oh, that's what they call her.
The what?
The titty cuddle.
Yeah. And the two guys are the love interests or no, one of them's a love interest.
The other one's
Suzaku.
Evil Suzaku.
The other one's evil Suzaku.
I hope that becomes some sort of stupid misunderstanding. Like, that's the only thing that they can do right now, because they've all but said Suzaku is just this evil guy. I hope that he's just this innocent guy competing for the other guy's love or something. And it was just someone with his exact outline in the shadows.
Yeah. Now we have two magical girls taking part in this.
Ooh, or maybe he's a magical girl, and his, like, girl side is really buff. And so when he transforms into an effeminate man. He's just in that form all the time.
When he was a child, he looked like a girl. And then they were like, hey, you want to sign up for this? Sure. Whoops.
So, yeah, it's going to be nice and fun. Ichini-san, I think it covers everything except the series
Except for
finale.
Hakata Tonkotsu Ramens.
Ah! Tonkotsu Ramens! Forgot about that. Okay, let me just...
Everyone was okay.
There we go, memory is shot.
Nobody died.
Called it.
So it seems like next week will be the final episode and the final showdown. This week...
Are you sure about that?
It seemed like it.
Or are you just like, well, it looks like that arc's going to end and then we'll have another 5 arcs?
The main opening had all the characters that we've seen so far, and there's nobody left, so I figured...
Okay.
Must be it. And it was not listed as a continuing thing for next season.
Okay.
So, who wants to begin this one? Because I need to jog my memory.
I don't even remember what was happening other than the what do they keep calling him? The submarine ninja?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lost his fight, kinda.
He was about to win.
He was about to win, then the
Yeah.
random bodyguard shot him, then he was saved by
yeah.
Bamba, who was watching.
That's what it was.
Then they figured out a thing, and the redhead guy devised a plan so that the organization they were attacking would think that they had reinforcements, so they come to an agreement Then each organization had to kill their assassin, which failed miserably on both ends for different reasons. Fantastically. On one end, the guy's like, I can smell this faint hint of poison in the sake. Let me inject you with a lethal thing and take over your entire organization. On the
by
other
the way,
side,
I think that's a huge bluff.
Which one?
I injected you with poison.
I wonder. I thought the same for a minute, but I could see him just doing it.
I could see him doing it, but I think it's a bluff.
I think it's a bluff in the sense of there's a cure.
Or that he has it.
Yeah.
Like, I can write for it, but it'll take 6 weeks to ship. Then, versus the submarine ninja, I guess. He's just like, here, I'll drink all the poison. Oh, wait, it's a sedative. Well, I'm gonna be killed now. All right. I'm wondering why he was so mad at that guy, though. He killed everybody else in the room to save him, and he's like, you betrayed me!
Which guy?
His handler.
His manager.
Yeah. Well, it's because he kind of did. But he redeemed himself instantly, so...
It's a guy thing, you would understand.
I guess. So that fell on its face fantastically, and then... did Lin do anything that was really that interesting? I don't think so.
He
did something.
All the people gathered around him because they were trying to keep him in the city. Like, oh, I saw him to run into you here.
Yeah.
Here's some buns. I was going to use this for revenge somehow.
Yeah, I never used it, though. So here you go. And then the last guy, the normal guy, walks in. What are you going to give me? You son of a gun!
Oh, yeah.
I'm so sorry! I don't know what I did. Let me live!
That poor guy.
And then finally they confront...
That guy that has no place in this show.
Yeah, no, he's perfectly placed in this show. I'm so glad he's there.
He has a role, but he doesn't belong in the city.
No, he doesn't. He has no place in the city, but he belongs in the show.
Yes.
And at the end, the redhead guy supposedly wanted to team up with Lin, and Lin's just like, no, I like the city.
Well, what do you I mean, like, I don't think it's... I think Lin just plain straight up distrusted him, but what do you think? Do you think they wanted to team up, actually?
No.
No, I don't think so either.
He was talking about, like, I want to kill him, like, beforehand.
I don't trust a word that comes out of his mouth, so I don't trust that he wants to kill him, and I don't trust that he wanted to team up. I think that he could have possibly...
You don't trust that he wanted to kill Lin?
Yeah, I don't trust that was his full story. I could see him wanting to team up, but let me put it this way, it would be a very bad move for Lin to be like, yeah, that sounds legit.
I'm gonna go to sleep first.
Yeah, exactly.
I could see him being like, I've got your eye now, let's go, for adventures.
Yeah, so it just... I don't think he's the most stable of folks.
Right.
So I'd say, like, it's a moot point to me whether or not he was being sincere. It'd be a bad idea.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trust him. So I'm glad that Lin didn't. It was kind of a sappy reason, but, good for everybody else for offering them hot steam buns. Yeah. That's all I got for that show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it, right? We get to the main event?
Yes.
Dragon Ball Super Resu. Series finale for potentially now.
So let's get the bad news out of the way. Goku's not dead.
Bad news?
Yeah.
Let's get the other bad news.
You know what that means?
What does that mean?
It means that they're not fighting anyone strong anytime soon.
I get it.
Let's get the other bad news out of the way.
What's that?
17's alive.
Yeah we talked about that last week, though.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, I mean, the final fight in the first half was just so wonderful. It was nice to see a fight that it wasn't not purely for the sake of just defeating the enemy, but it was a case of, trying to knock him out. It gave such a different feel and vibe to everything.
Yeah, it did.
Those Cell games should have been like that.
You blew up the room.
Imagine that.
Yeah, and this episode had so many callbacks to other things. Like, the obvious was Goku and Vegeta squaring off on their rocks. There were moments of the Frieza saga scattered throughout. There were moments of so many things. Like, that was pretty well directed artistically.
Mm-hmm.
The animation in this was great. I can understand why they kept taking weeks off now.
Did anybody else notice that while Frieza was fighting Jiren, his tail got cut off?
Got cut off?
Frieza's?
Yeah.
No.
I missed it the first time until somebody else pointed it out. I'm like, wait, what? And I go back and watch, like, oh shit, there it is. Or not.
I remembered when Jiren stepped on it.
Yeah.
It was after Frieza lost his golden form.
Don't tell me what to do. Power up. Goes back to normal form. Don't tell me what to do. Yeah, let me see. There's so much to break down in this episode alone. I really liked that Android 17 was like... It was like... What? Not a red herring, but just like a clue to what was coming, because Universe number 1 is 7, and Android 17, 17. You know, it's just like...
I don't think that was...
There was somebody that was drunk, and that's why they brought him back, I think. I think he was legitimately dead until they realized, wait.
You know,
Wait, we can make this a retroactive clue.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? If you were to go back in time to explain to somebody, oh, Dragon Ball Super is going to be a thing. Really? What happens? It would sound like just so retarded. Let's see. One of the bad guys is Goku comes back as a bad guy. He's able to do Super Saiyan Kaioken.
Times 20.
Times 20. Which, I don't care how stupid it is. I always wanted that. What other stuff is there? Oh, yeah, and it...
I mean, it does not make sense.
Yeah. It ends with Goku and Frieza hugging the opponent until he dies. Or until they win. Goku and Frieza teaming up. You know what's really weird? In Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, there's heroes and villains. The heroes are called, like, Super, whatever their style is, and the villains called Extreme, whatever their style is. Jiren is called Super. He's viewed as a good guy instead of a bad guy.
He's a hero of justice.
Yeah, I know, but I mean...
Yeah, I know.
It should not have been a thing. Because it ruined my strength villain team.
Jiren is pretty... he's, like, chaotic neutral.
No, I would not call him chaotic neutral. He's neutral good.
But, like, is he, though? 'Cause
yeah.
his only...
I mean,
the only reason he is on, like, Team Justice is I want to get stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
He wants to get stronger for justice.
Is he the type of...
That's his definition of justice.
It's not justice, though. It's revenge.
I don't... Because it's not like he's only fighting for that bad guy. He's fighting for
He's fighting to make himself stronger.
Yeah, so he never has to feel the pain of just losing everyone again. While at the same time keeping him at an arm's distance.
I mean, it's like if Frieza joins Team Z.
He might.
So would he be would he be good, neutral good, or something?
He's chaotic evil still.
There you go.
Yeah, but he's trying to do bad things. Jiren's not.
Well, he's
trying to
out
do
to
good
get
things.
revenge.
Yeah, and the villain who killed his everything.
He happens to do good things, and during the path of training to be stronger, the strongest being in the universe, on his path for ultimate revenge.
No, because Jiren kept talking about things like justice. He is a very justice-oriented person.
Yeah, and then as you went on during the fight, you saw how shallow that really was.
No, he just began to have a breakdown. That's a difference. It
Right.
wasn't...
Frieza's reason for coming back is to subjugate the universe. Like, could care less about
I mean,
power.
yeah, I know. Maybe that was a bad example.
Yeah. So, but I want to talk about the most important thing. The way that Android 17 used his wish, and we went back to check this. It was bring back all of the universes which were erased. And one, that probably means the one that we got the second Xenosama from, because that universe was erased, if we're doing it in timeline. But it definitely...
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, but it definitely includes universe 13 through, whatever it was.
18.
13 through... So we don't know why those were erased.
Yeah.
Like, and that would...
It could just be because, like, they lost a tournament or something.
It could be, but it could also be, like, that's because the evil Saiyan who is stronger than Goku, that's where it existed,
Mm-hmm.
No, because they're only, like...
Parallel,
yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, we saw a Universe 7 creature, Yagurath, on a different universe. The one who does the instant transmission. He was in Universe 4, I think it was.
So let's just...
Whatever.
For the sake of argument, let's just take Saiyan out of it. Like, let's say that they somehow formed, like, this inter-universe coalition for evil.
Right.
So
I'm going to assume that they were erased because they were too weak or too evil or too strong or something like that. It wasn't for no reason.
I love that they said maybe Zeno-sama had some expectations, because he said either they were going to wish back the other universes or he was going to erase everything.
Yeah, that's great.
Man, that's balls deep, man. Good job. That's quicksand right there. That's good job, Zeno-sama. So... It's
inside joke.
Yeah. So, anyways, I really like that extra sophistication, and that this is one of the things I don't mind them telling, not showing necessarily, because it was like you can look back and see it. Yeah, but saying that he hoped that Goku and his friends would sort of bring something out of the universes, and he definitely made ripples across the universes. That's you can't argue against it. And so now,
especially the idol universe, I guess you could call them, like the love,
yeah.
Like everybody in the universe was watching that.
Yeah. Oh, that one is so much easier. But there's something to be said about affecting the strongest in each universe too,
right?
Even when they weren't watching it, but. There's so much that's going on, and then when Android 17 says, I wish back all of them, it colors Zeno-sama's, are you sure? Oh boy. This will be fun. Of course, he can always just snap things out of existence anyways, but still, who knows what'll happen.
Something interesting in regards to the ending, which it shows how Dragon Ball... despite being so formulaic, always manages to go beyond it.
Even further?
Even further beyond it.
Further.
Stop it! So Goku is unable to do Ultra Instinct at will.
Yes.
That was like a one-time thing. So for the first time ever, I think it's possible that the next villain could be weaker than the previous villain, but still be enough of a threat.
Why?
Because he can't do Ultra Instinct.
Yeah.
So, like, right now, Goku at Ultra Instinct makes Vegeta's, Royal Blue look like cute.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Because regular Ultra Instinct was arguably stronger than Kaioken times whatever
20,
Blue. And Mastered was definitely stronger.
Yes.
So, like, if he could just do that, the next villain would just be cake. Right. Either Goku can beat him or nobody has a chance.
Yeah.
So it could be somebody who's still weaker than Jiren, but they can still be weaker than Jiren and pose a universal threat to the Z crew.
Uh-huh.
So that's, bam, Z could potentially do it again, or Super.
Well, the next enemy is some kind of Saiyan, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
So.
We get 8 months to speculate.
Yeah.
Yeah. They gave a lot of hints and whatnot at how that's probably going to be another series or season of Super or some new name Dragon Ball thing.
I think they said they're sticking with Super.
Did they?
I
nobody's-
just want to say that because
I'd rather it still
Just
be
because.
super, just because it'd be simpler. Because at a certain point, wasn't there like some other series that kept like changing the official?
only every show that has like a pause ever,
Yeah.
like working, like instead of just like season 2 or season 3, it has like season 1 is 1 exclamation point, season 2 is 2 exclamation points, and season 3 is 3 exclamation
I like that.
I like that's nice.
That's brilliant.
Try searching it and you'll see how brilliant it is.
But I mean, if it's all in one place, it's like, okay, season 1, 2, 3. You know, I like that as an idea, as opposed to like you have to search an entirely different word.
Yeah, and
working Subarashi.
Nagima did.
I'm still working.
Nagima did exclamation point. Then season 2 or something was
Semicolon.
Exclamation point question mark. And then there was I forget what the third thing was. It was completely different.
Negima, even further.
I mean, so stop it. I mean, we had a Frieza. Oh, sorry it took so long. Your Emperor is back.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's not gonna just pass by.
I like how Beerus Beerus is just like, yeah, give him his life back.
Yeah, he can just do that?
Yeah.
I mean, one thing Dragon Ball series doesn't do is when they end a series, they don't leave loose ends. They make you feel like it's over. Like, end of Dragon Ball. Goku is the strongest person on the planet. The biggest villain is defeated. That's it. Dragon Ball Z, the embodiment of all evil is now dead, and Goku's back to life, and we're gonna have happy endings. End of Super.
Well, he's reincarnated.
Yeah. As a good guy.
As a good guy.
Yeah, so that's, Goku flies off, and it's like, until we meet again, because...
they also said that one episode he went to get 17, that oob was a thing.
Yes.
And then they did nothing with it. They're like, oh, I heard that oob is... Yeah, that's cool. Let's go to 17 now.
And so, oh yeah, with GT had like the best ending out of all of them, but that was, quite a nice little wrap-up. And
I've seen so little of that.
The one thing they did right is ending everything. That's still the best ending out of all of them.
Is that the one where he fused with the Internal Dragon or something?
Something like that, but like they play like the opening music while Goku was like going through his life, and it was nice. Dun dun nya 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 nya.
I'm so sorry.
That's how the song goes. But with Super, it's just like, number one, Frieza's still alive. When Goku was talking to a Xeno-sama, which is just the embodiment of the audience. So Goku, what's up next for you? Well, you see, and then Beerus runs in and makes him shut up. So we gotta go in for a bit.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
And just, yeah, too many things feel unfinished.
Looking at it from Zeno-sama being the embodiment of the audience, the line of, will you come and visit me again? Absolutely, I promise.
Yeah.
It's.
And plus, I saw the Toei Animation's budget and what makes them the most money. Dragon Ball Super in some areas is more than half of their entire revenue.
What else do they make? Sailor Moon gone. Or no, that's they rebooted that.
Yeah, Sailor Moon Crystal. But I don't think.
What else do they make? I don't know.
Still,
wait, don't they make a One Piece?
Which series?
I'm pretty sure they make One Piece.
Which one?
Toei Animation.
Is that correct? I think that.
If they do, you'd see a huge Toei animation before each episode.
We see a huge something animation for each episode. I've tuned it out in my brain. I can't imagine it right now. But it's not the same. It's a Fox thing.
Like 20th Century Fox, or like
no, like a fox wearing a musketeer hat.
Huh?
Okay, they do.
I don't know what that is.
They have a lot of stuff. Let's see.
Read it off.
I don't know.
Post 90s.
Yeah, of course. This is 2010 to current. Should I just read off everything or just the things that
that are in English?
Hot Catch Pretty Cure.
Oh God, yeah, that's popular in Japan.
6 Hot Princess. Digimon Xros Wars XROS.
Fiscal reports confirm that Dragon Ball is outselling One Piece and Gundam.
Bam.
Dang.
So they have One Piece and Gundam.
No, they don't.
They do what?
They don't have Gundam.
Well,
Okay.
it's a fiscal report that says they outsell both.
Hmm.
It would not. Nothing outsells Gundam.
Oh, they have a World Trigger. I keep hearing about that. Maho Girl's Pretty Cute. Tiger Mask. Another Digimon.
Okay, so Digimon, Precure, Sailor Moon.
Dubbing. 1 second. Because they might...
You're
Because
scrolling
Sailor Moon
through a lot
Crystal.
of things. Yeah, Sailor Moon Crystal's like
It's Toei Animation.
3 or 4
One
years
Piece.
old.
One Piece Toei Animation.
Okay.
And so, anyways,
So why is it not
this
on
is
this list?
the thing.
Let me see. Is that what I was looking
Oh,
Toei Animation, the
That's
fox
a
with the
that's
musketeer
a
hat.
Oh.
that's a different logo. Weird.
So, yeah. I mean, in Japan, it's like 40-something% is Dragon Ball Super for them.
Wow.
Their international is like 50-some% Dragon Ball Super.
I'm
So
not
it's-
surprised because most of those other shows are like otaku
Yeah,
markets.
so
Some of those shirts are really nice too. Like some of the merchandise is pretty good.
they already Dangun did goof when they didn't just air Super until after a year it came out on the other.
Yeah.
They should have
Nation?
started dubbing day one. I mean,
Yes.
like,
Really?
what were they thinking?
It's like,
Oh, I
fine,
don't
don't
know,
take
guys.
my money.
I don't know, guys. This one might flop.
All those movies kind of, they were pretty successful, but it's been, what,
Yeah.
2 years?
Let's put another year there, just in case it might flop.
Every single Dragon Ball game is like an instant automatic success, but I don't know.
Just
Xenoverse 2 is, that's successful. It's unreasonably successful, but whatever.
so they can keep the fun going and make a shit ton of money. No business is gonna go like, you know what? Let's cut our revenue in half. I'm sure we'll be successful after that.
But then you have the problem where it's like, okay, Cell's done, let's end it now. No!
Yeah, that is a problem.
No! Keep going. We need the money. Cash cow.
I think one of the problems was that Toriyama just did not know how to end it, so he kept dragging it out until he figured it out.
Well, he wanted to end it after Cell.
Actually, something I looked up is a lot of this he wanted to end it after Blink is just myths.
Oh.
Like, he wanted to end it after Frieza, that was a myth. I mean, even as Frieza was finishing up, he was saying stuff like, I'm not sure how I want to end this. Goku could be an old man by the time I'm done with these ideas. With Cell Saga, he was thinking about, okay, how can I make the next villain be more, how can I make him...
How could I one up this?
Yeah. And so people just take like one thing he said at some point just out of context.
That's
It's
really
like-
out of context.
Yeah.
And so it's like, he wants to finish it after Frieza. Nope, he did not want to do that
He
at
said
all.
the opposite.
Yeah. But I mean, like taking something like, I'm getting tired, or like something along those lines. And it's
Yeah,
like,
that's sounds like I want to end it.
Yeah. Alright.
Or no, that sounds like, oh, this is my passion turning into, oh god, this is my job.
So
This is my life. This is what I've become.
So with Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT does not count. What would you rate Super?
Well, I think I'd say it's my favorite.
God, I am struggling to decide because I
But
keep going
like
back and forth.
I think we need more to before I can say it's
More
better
time?
than Z.
I don't have
More content.
I don't have that childhoodiness like I did before, and so
Yeah.
that's a factor. But
I don't have the nostalgia for Z, because I only watched it like 8 years ago. So
me growing
Yeah.
up, doing martial arts and whatnot, that was like a big aspect of my everything, and so so many things that are attached to Z.
Dragon Ball's more into the martial arts than Z is.
Yeah, at the same time, I'm not a fan of the original drawings.
But at the
I'm not
same
gonna lie.
time, Super Saiyans.
No, just like Goku's design when he was a kid.
Yeah, the art got a lot better in
Yeah.
Z.
Super brought back martial arts, which is surprising. After a certain point, you think they'd give up on that, but nope, they brought that back.
Yeah.
That was nice.
And one of the big problems I have with Z is that, like, a lot of the times the fights kind of, like, at some point, they're always just, like, fist blurs.
Mm-hmm.
As they hover in midair, and it's just that for a while. I'm reading the manga right now, so that's what I said.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm enjoying that. I just finished the first Budokai Tenkaichi, so yeah, it's. I think it's a lot better than the anime.
Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
Just Dragon Ball or the whole thing?
Well, I haven't gotten to the whole thing.
Yeah. At the very least, it is on par with Z. Potentially even better.
What?
Super.
Oh.
They also gave us just like so many little moments. It was.
I definitely think it's better than Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch Determined Power like straight and see how that is, because it is watching Dragon Ball week by week and watching it in a straight line is so different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's something I would never normally do,
Yeah.
but
I've been watching the dub now, and even though it's still week by week, it's not like on my radar, and so I like forget about it until it's time to watch it again. So it feels almost like a straight line, and I can just tell how different and smoother it is.
yeah, that's what I used to do. I'd wait until there was 4 hours or so, and then I'd watch some of that.
Hold your fire! This man isn't black! That was wonderful. Alright, what about you, John?
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say about it. Like, Dragon Ball's almost annoyingly sometimes straightforward. So, Z, it was good for its time, and then Super was good for its time, and I think if you're going to objectively look at them, there's so many things that Super does better because it's had 10 years to evolve, right? Like when did Z end?
Yeah,
I think 18.
probably more than that. Probably 20.
So let's say it's had 20 years to
it
evolve.
depends
as a
on if you
medium.
want to count the manga or the anime.
I mean, we were watching the anime in the early 90s, so that's like 20
Right.
years ago.
Right.
Before Super. So at least 20 years.
Yeah, but I'm talking from when the last episode aired
Right,
versus
yeah.
when the first
Yeah.
episode aired.
That's what I was thinking.
So I mean,
but the manga ended first.
sorry, the manga.
The manga ended before the anime ended.
Yeah.
So it depends on if you want to count that,
No,
which they pretty faithfully followed,
Yeah.
versus the anime.
No, I'm thinking just pure anime because they had it. So to not have a choice is different than you have a choice and you went with an artistic direction. And so they went with an artistic direction to follow it, but they could have done other things. They just figured this was the best option, and so that's when the last thing aired.
Oh, by the way, I as I said, I was reading Dragon Ball and Goku's 14,
Mhm.
and we're all like, "What?" And then in a couple chapters later, Goku's like, hold on, and he's like counting on his fingers, and he's like, I'm 12, and then everyone's like, hey, wait, you said you were 14 earlier, and then he's like, well, Master Roshi told me how to count.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I can't remember. I didn't mind the sort of more cartooniness of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, me neither.
But yeah, for me, it's really a choice between Z and Super, and I think that if you're going to look at them objectively, Super has it just because of the evolution of the field. But if you're going to look at it within the contexts of the time, I think that they're exactly the same.
So Dragon Ball Z, final episode was in January of 1996.
Whoa.
Super's first episode was June of 2015.
So 19 years?
Sounds about right.
Let's call it 20.
Let's call it 20. Yeah, so, I mean, 20 years of evolution.
And also that was after the 2 movies were out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I stand by that. I'd say that there is an essence to Dragon Ball that just, unlike with GT, it existed in Super. So I say they're just to me it's almost like the same show, just now we have bigger balls.
Yeah.
That's an ace joke, Nick.
A what?
Never mind.
A what joke?
You'll know when you're older. Alright, so I think that just about wraps up all of this fun stuff. Alright, so join us next week where either we talk about some new episodes we've seen, or
there are
something else.
No shows airing next week.
It's funny how the first week of the new season has basically nothing.
I think there's a couple shows that we don't want to watch, I think.
Yeah. Oh well. Join us next week for Dragon's Flow Teacast.
Bye.